You write this morning about the latest with the Theo Epstein to the Cubs move, and you make a good point that with the World Series about to start tomorrow, that today's the day. If there's no announcement made today, Major League Baseball does not want announcements made once the World Series starts. What is happening, Nick?
Well, I think they're back at negotiating right now, and we'll see if they can, put the final touches on this thing. One of the problems here is that, the Cubs don't really have a lot to give back. They just don't have much talent. Prospect-wise, they have 3 or 4 guys who are, that I guess are serviceable. I mean, Brett Jackson's obviously their top guy, and doesn't appear like they are willing to give him up. And then after that, it's a flip of the coin as to, how good these guys are. The Trey McNutt is obviously their best pitcher, and I think the Red Sox are trying to get him. And they're going to have to give up one of these guys, I guess. But from the Red Sox point of view, they kind of wish Theo had gone to a different team.
Well, you mentioned in your article today that ESPN reported that the Red Sox asked for Matt Garza, who of course is battle-tested in the American League East and pitched for Tampa, and that the Cubs shot back and said, well, we just want to give cash. But you have a source that told you that they might have asked for Starlin Castro also?
I had originally written a couple of weeks ago that the Red Sox should ask for Garza or Castro right off the bat because, your Cubs are getting their top guy here, and Theo Epstein, and I think they heeded that advice. I think they definitely shot for the moon here, and realized they couldn't get it, and so then they went to their top prospects, which is where they should settle and get one of the best they can. So, I keep reading stories out of Chicago that Larry Lucchino is being unreasonable and all of this stuff, and he's being very reasonable. I think he should get the very best player he can for letting his GM go to another team.
Well, and again, if it doesn't get announced today, so what? I mean, we're just coming off the heels of a story on the day of the NFL trading deadline. Similar situation, sort of. Mike Brown of the Bengals would not give Carson Palmer his wish at the beginning of the year. He just got possibly 2 first-round draft picks from the Oakland Raiders for holding out for this long. So I agree with you. Lucchino can be as stubborn as he wants. I mean, Theo Epstein is a prize, and if he was under contract, Red Sox didn't have to let him go. They should draw their line in the sand, shouldn't they?
Oh, absolutely. I would as well, and there's no reason not to. I mean, listen, the Cubs can't go back on this now. I mean, they have excited this city. I mean, this is like George Halas coming to Chicago or something. This is big stuff. I mean, this is the Cubs in 1908. I mean, this is the guy they think can lead them to 103 years of nonsense here and to some positive things. So you got to give up something. I mean, Theo's got to rebuild this team anyway. It's not like it's not like he's going to step in here and they're going to win the pennant next year. Right. So yeah, hold out for whatever you can get. They have to have them.
Nick, you and I are old enough to my question is this. What happens if this somehow falls through? I mean, you and I are old enough to remember when free agency started and the picture of Joe Rudy in a Red Sox uniform in the Red Sox dugout, and then Bowie Kuhn, I believe it was, stepping in and nixing that deal. So is there any possibility this doesn't go through?
I suppose there could be. I just think it will. I just think they'll eventually come to terms on the player, and maybe it has to be 2 players, to get it done. But it'll get done. It'll get done. I mean, listen. They've told Ben Sherrington he's the GM, so I don't know what Theo would do here. Other than oversee him or something. I don't know, but I just know that I just don't fathom this thing not happening.